My name is Christopher Paasch, and I am the chair of the Curry County Board of Commissioners. In January of every year, the outgoing chair presents a summary of the year's activities to the public. This is my first State of the County address, and I've decided to do things a little differently and share my address with you in this video format. My fellow commissioners, our Vice Chair Court Boyce and Commissioner Sue Gold. Together as a board this year, we have made some significant strides, but we acknowledge there is still a lot of work left to do. One of the first matters that this board was faced with was a failing emergency communications system, and we had to decide how to fund a new microwave tower grid to provide for communications. Money had never been set aside for this, and the board was left with a decision as to whether to take money from the road fund or not have emergency communication towers for our law enforcement and our first responders. For obvious reasons, money was taken from the road fund to pay for the towers. The new towers were approved at a cost of approximately $800,000. This emergency situation made it clear this board needed to ensure the county began capital improvement planning and find a way to develop a contingency fund. At the time, little did we know the towers were going to be the first of several unexpected expenses that were not addressed in a capital improvement plan. Also in January, the board brought back the former Director of Administration and Economic Development, Julie Schmelzer. As our new Director of Operations, Julie's skill set in intergovernmental relations has allowed us to improve services while still saving money. Julie replaced the former county administrator and assumed some of the duties of the county community development director as well. One thing this county has heard repeatedly over the last few years was there were too many people in charge and not enough worker bees. As a result, this board reorganized several departments into one large department. The board combined the former Community Development Department, once known as the Planning Department, the Building Safety Department, Surveyor's Office, Parks Department, Emergency Management Office, and the recently created Code Enforcement Division, all into the new expanded Community Development Department. That new department has also co-located to improve our services and has begun scanning its documents to improve its efficiency. Administrative staff is shared, as is the cost, by all the divisions within the department, reducing some overhead expenses. Somewhat controversial, the board reinstated pay for the commissioners. Equitable pay has helped ensure accountability and resulted in commissioners being in the office full-time and doing more than just participating in meetings. The current board has taken on tough conversations, like the possibility of combining special districts or questioning special districts on their spending. They have also encouraged the various school districts to work together and share ideas and resources, lobbied for more effective fire suppression, worked with the fire chief from Gold Beach to secure funding for a fire and emergency training facility, fought for federal help to dredge our rivers, and lobbied for improved services for our veterans, and are also addressing fishery issues that have grossly damaged our tourism economy. The fisheries issue also affects neighboring Josephine and Jackson counties. We are presently working with Josephine County and a consultant to encourage the United States Army Corps of Engineers to fulfill their commitments regarding the number of fish that were to be released into the river when the dam in Jackson County was built. This board has also reinstated the Economic Development and Tourism Program and brought back Summer Matheson, formerly in the board's office, to run that program. Her program was also incorporated into the new Community Development Department. The county receives lottery funds for this position, so it was a logical choice to reinstate the program and work towards improving our economy. Ms. Madison is working with others on a micro enterprise program. a business incubator proposal, and has made significant strides in developing youth education opportunities, and has been working on a program whereby all students would receive job experience to prepare them for a career. The Citizen Revenue Task Force, which was formed under the previous board, proposed the new board proceed with a transient lodging tax for the unincorporated areas of the county. That tax was approved by the voters in May. As a result, the board had to hire a new position to collect the tax and administer the program. If revenues are as projected by the task force, the tax revenue will cover the cost of the position. The new staff person, Miranda Plagge, also works with the new promotions committee on how to improve tourism and has been helping Gold Beach Main Street with some promotional projects. The board also appointed a new budget committee this past year. Although criticized for getting rid of experience, the board wanted fresh eyes to look at the financial situation. The board also has agreed to have an audit to determine where the county can do better with its finances, but that matter has been rolled over to 2020. Due to other pressing financial concerns, the board is focusing the coming year on resolving deficiencies found in our past annual audits and trying to resolve some of the past deficiencies which need to be cured before the new budget can be proposed. A new finance director was hired in July and has made the board aware of several concerns she has in her department and the way the county is conducting business. Some of the items brought to light is no one department head can check their budget at any given time to see where they are in their spending. The current budgeting process doesn't allow for forecasting. There's no formal process set up for capital improvement planning or asset management. And the financial and HR processes are very cumbersome and very time-consuming, oftentimes requiring 5 people to review one bill. She brought a proposal to the board for the county to modernize and use software that can help with budgeting and financial processes. The software will also help with transparency by allowing you, the public, to know what we are spending your money on and where we are in the budgeting process. She also had concerns with past budgets and found what she considers to be errors that impact our spending. She has recommended the board not proceed further with the budget until a third party has reviewed all the records and addressed any financial inconsistencies. She has also proposed other software that can help us recruit nationally, ensure our hiring processes are fair, and make for a more efficient way for hiring. Many people do not realize the money wasted in training employees. Over 50% of our team has been with the county for less than 2 years. We need to make sure we are hiring people that are qualified, require minimal training, and are integrated into the county system properly. The recommendations of the new finance director, Charlene Harvey, are seriously being considered, and some have already been approved. She has also expressed she does not believe the county needs a full-time finance director, and there should be other staffing changes in her department as well. She recommended the county contract for county accountant services rather than have someone on staff. There was no money budgeted for these changes, but the director is so adamant change is needed that she has offered to leave her position and the money for her position be utilized to purchase the software. This board has been diligent in providing more information to the public about its departments as well as services offered by other agencies. The board has required a quarterly report program whereby departments must provide the board quarterly reports at the public meeting so the public is aware of what is going on in the various departments. If you have not had the opportunity to view the meeting videos, I encourage you to do so, in that the reports are not only informative, but they address the successes and concerns of our department directors. The board declared a state of emergency for the slides on Hooskanagan on Highway 101, the Winchuck River Road Slide, Mountain Road Slide, the Gardner Ridge Washout, and the Hunter Creek area flooding. Thankfully, the governor supported our declaration, and we were able to get reimbursed for the work staff did as a result of these disasters. Our Parks Division was very proactive this year and proposed several new campgrounds, which have all been supported by the board. Currently, the Parks Division, led by Josh Hopkins, is self-funded and does not rely on the general fund. Josh has proposed acquiring some old Forest Service campgrounds on the Elk River, helping the Port of Brookings Harbor with maintenance on their RV park, and proposed a new campground on the Social Security Bar in Brookings. None of these projects have been completed, but are in negotiations. Also related to parks, the board approved swapping the state some undevelopable land along Flores Lake for some land along Highway 101 across from Pacific High School. That swap will allow the state park system to expand by 90 acres and result in the majority of the lake being protected from development. One of the big unknowns in a county budget is how much inmate medical services will cost. Once incarcerated, an inmate no longer has access to their federal benefits, which includes public health insurance. Therefore, those medical costs are borne by the county. It is almost impossible to accurately budget for these inmate needs. And this past year, the county paid $112,000 for inmate medical costs. Not only do the federal policies hurt counties, but they prevent inmates from accessing their doctors who have the inmate's medical record. The board has gone on record in support of the bills proposed by Senator Merkley to address the issue and are working with All Care on a pilot program to help address these concerns. Our Sheriff, John Ward, has done a great job this year implementing changes to help address financial needs and increasing coverage within the county. With the help of $25,000 in donations, the sheriff reinstated the Canine Patrol, which was unanimously supported by the Board of Commissioners. That patrol is to be self-funded and will begin with 2 dogs, but eventually we hope to include 4 dogs in total, 2 for protection and 2 for drug enforcement activities. A previous board had agreed all marijuana tax revenue was to go to the general fund. This board redirected those funds to the sheriff's office to help address crime. The board also approved a grant from All Care, which enabled the county to continue to partner with the South Coast Interagency Narcotics Team to further the sheriff's crackdown on drugs. In case you are not familiar with John Ward, our county sheriff, I'd like to take this time for him to share a few words with you.
We worked with the commissioners and the budget committee to add 5 new positions this year, 2 in patrol, 2 in corrections, and then we added records management. We added 2 more patrol positions. We haven't quite filled them. We were getting close. We have actually 10 deputies right now. We have 2 positions open. But patrol is a different duck. We have to have the right person for that. Out of those ones that we hire for patrol, I did get hired 2 detective positions, and that is huge because they handle more of the high-profile cases, all the sex abuse crimes, all the major search warrants we do. Maybe if we have a homicide, they do a specific type of work, and that's the design for basically a detective to work on and have time to work on. The one thing I'm very proud of is our Canine program. We used to have a Canine program back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and the program went away when the sheriff back then decided there were some issues and just did away with the program. But with the amount of drugs this year, or these days, and the amount of crimes related to drugs, we needed to install a new canine program. So we did. We got 2 canines. We have a dual-purpose dog. His name's Axel. He's a Belgian Malinois, and he's certified in narcotics and patrol. The other dog is a Labrador Retriever who is FEMA certified in search and rescue and cross-certified now in narcotics. This year, with the support of our commissioners, the Teamsters were able to negotiate a pay raise across the board for all our staff. For years, we've been a training ground here in Curry County, and we would hire somebody, they would get trained, certified, and then move on because of the pay and better benefits. But we were able to get I think it was an 8.4% increase across the board, which brought us up to likewise counties. We have a great group of people here, and I'm very excited about the people we have. Like I say, we're almost fully staffed, and we're able to provide a little bit better service to our community. I do have a lot of confidence on our commissioners to help try to find some permanent funding for the county sheriff's office and our public safety. Public safety's got to be the number one priority in our county above all else. That's about all I got to say for this.
The board has spent a considerable amount of time working with other jurisdictions to partner on their services and has seen their staff successfully secure many grants to fund our programs. I feel I can speak on behalf of the board by expressing our gratitude in having talented staff eager to seek resources to help provide the best services they can. The Roads Department asked the board to allocate money to hire a grant writer for their projects, which help bring in revenue to pay for equipment and repairs. This department has helped save hundreds of thousands of dollars long-term by replacing old, inefficient equipment with new vehicles and equipment which can get the work done quicker with less expense and require less maintenance. Some of the equipment replaced was 40 years old. The Roadmaster, Rich Christensen, proposed a program whereby the county could get a new fleet of vehicles at a government rate and then sell them in 3 years at a market rate, thereby reducing our maintenance costs, saving money, and having a reliable fleet of vehicles. Old vehicles are to be auctioned off. Also controversial this past year was the board's decision to not allow county video equipment to be borrowed for free to volunteers without tighter oversight of that equipment. The board also terminated their contract with Brant Media, who was filming our meetings, but only because the county had the option to save approximately half of what we were paying Brant Media. Although Brant did a good job, we felt it necessary to save money wherever we could. As explained, we had some major staffing changes. Overall, staffing was a concern for the county. The county has also had a difficult time attracting qualified building inspectors. So this year, the board entered into an intergovernmental agreement with Josephine County to use one of their interns. Josephine County would pay for the training and education and travel at a cost of $10,000 over 3 months. This approach allowed us to ensure that we had the right fit for the job, but also saved us about $25,000. As mentioned earlier, we hired a new finance director, the 5th one in 4 years. She was tasked with ways to improve efficiencies and cut costs, and has proposed several changes that will save money beginning in 2020. Admittedly, some of the strategies we are considering will cost money, but we believe sometimes you have to spend money to save money. Another staffing change we made was to not have a county surveyor on staff, but to contract for the services. There are projected cost savings we expect to see in the coming fiscal year. In fall of 18, the previous board approved a new part-time code enforcement officer. Due to the success of the program, the officer, Dave Fortman, was moved to full-time, and we've made provisions to hire a second officer. In the past year, he has processed 688 cases and had contact with 441 people. The majority of his workload is in the southern part of the county. Most of his cases deal with safety or sanitation issues. Our juvenile department has implemented new approaches to juvenile behavior. Wendy Lang, who became the Juvenile Director in 2018, has these words to share.
What really makes us a great place is the people that work here. The staff here is absolutely amazing. I have an office administrative who does all our legal filing, who keeps us organized, who keeps calendars and keeps us covering every aspect of the county. We take referrals from Port Orford to Brookings, so we are traveling and we are moving and we're having to be very resourceful. We have 2 senior probation officers. They handle the high-end offenders, which would be felony cases, sex offender cases, cases from out of the state and out of the county. They are amazing. Not only do they come here 40 hours a week, they have cell phones on them, which are 24/7. So they go above and beyond what we could ask. Not only that, they are involved in our community. They want Curry County to be a safe place. They, on their free time, coach. They coach volleyball, they coach football, they coach wrestling. They give back to the community in ways that are absolutely amazing. I have a community service coordinator. He takes kids out in the community. The days of putting them in orange and making them walk along the street and pick up garbage, that's no longer what we like to see. We want to teach them skills. Again, we want to teach them to be a productive member of society. So we are landscaping, we are weed eating, we are mowing, we are giving back to the community for them to take pride in. We recently have taken over the front of the courthouse lawn, and these kids take pride in what they do. If you come by, like right now at the holidays, you're going to see Christmas lights that the kids did. If you come in spring, you're going to see us planting, pulling weeds, doing things like that. In Brookings, we're maintaining a bridge. We're working with ODOT. We're now getting ready to partner with state parks to teach kids how to build trails and build bridges, give them skills that will help them be employable and help them be very successful. Some programs that we have done this year, I think, that have made a difference is one of the things we've done is every probation officer has this in their car, and it is strictly a hygiene kit for any kids. We deal with a lot of homeless youth, couch surfing youth that might not be able to take a shower, so we provide these to kids anytime they need them, not just kids on our caseload, but any kids that we can come around. It's got everything they need from personal items to shampoos, conditioners, toothpaste, you name it, and it comes in a backpack, and it goes to them, no questions asked. We also have a grant that we got from Curry Community Health, and this is prevention efforts. This is a instant UA kit with full instructions that a parent can take to the privacy of their own home. They can UA their children and know if there's anything they need to be doing before they get in trouble. So these are at law enforcement agencies, these are at our department, and these are also at schools, with the hope that if something is up, a parent can step in before it reaches us and get their child the help they need. This just hit the streets, and this is pretty amazing. This is 21 apps that parents should know about in their child's cell phone. So this gives parents the tools to actually go into the child's cell phone and look and see what those apps are. And if they have the app, just have a good conversation. Know what concerns might be and know what's there. Social media is overwhelming our youth, and as parents and community, we really need to be on top of that. And then, I can't share enough. It's the people, it's the community, it's the caring. The days of, send them to prison and scare them straight aren't there. We are now in a society of teach them, care about them. So we are dedicated to be that one caring person in a kid's life. Again, there's hope behind our doors, and we want to make a difference. The next year, what you're going to see us really focusing on is employment for our youth. We have some partners that have stepped in who offer assistance, so we're really going to work at getting kids employed. Statistics show that they're not out getting in trouble if they're busy working. We also are allowing community service work to be done. Show me that you're employed and working, and I'll count that towards community service work. So those are some of the major things you can look at next year. I would say a good read for anybody, not even a good read, a good movie. Antoine Fisher, this is something that my department has entirely watched, and this is about the business we do. This is straight up where one person can make a difference in a young person's life, and that's what the juvenile department is dedicated to do.
Other matters we, the Board of County Commissioners, had to address were a request to approve a Second Amendment sanctuary ordinance related to gun control. The board declined to support the proposal since a resolution was passed related to the matter by a previous board and due to concerns from the Sheriff's Office as well as concerns raised by the public. 2 board members went to Washington, D.C. this year, costing the county about $2,000. The trips were necessary to lobby the federal government for assistance with our river issues as well as the need to address our fires and issues related to sudden oak death. I was one of those members who went to Washington, D.C., and I am proud to announce, as a result of my work in Washington, D.C., and with the National Association of Counties, I was appointed by the President to serve on the National Veterans Military Services Committee. This fall, the board approved a business license ordinance for the unincorporated areas. Some of the revenues from the program pay for the staff to administer the code. Ideally, the new ordinance will help ensure our businesses are up to code. We know what we have here for promotions, and we can be better prepared and provide assistance in the event of a disaster. The board dug into housing issues and declared a housing emergency for Curry County. They sought clarification on a voucher program and proposed codes to make it easier to secure permits and develop properties. These efforts are currently ongoing. The county identified several properties we own and offered them to the Housing Task Force for development of low to moderate income housing. Although no homes have been developed on these sites, we continue to advocate for partnerships to improve the availability and condition of our housing stock. The board offered an amnesty program to encourage people to get their planning and building permits. Unpermitted development is not only unsafe, but our county assessor, Jim Colin, reported the taxes foregone by unpermitted development is costing the county money. He estimated the total assessed value collected for non-permitted new construction during the last 5 years was about $14.5 million. As some of you may have noticed, not all county offices are open 5 days a week, nor are they open even 8 hours a day. The board ordered that effective January 1st of this year, all county offices will be open Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. There are some exceptions, but our goal is to make sure we are available to you, the citizen. Offices do close for lunch, but are also available by appointment. The county has been operating without some common policies, so we have been reviewing draft policies and enacting them when appropriate. One such policy was a credit card policy where employees would need to be held accountable for transactions on their cards they have access to and limit the number of employees that actually have credit cards. We also supported employees having ID badges so the public knows who staff is when they are in the field. Another matter the board discovered was the county does not engage in asset management. No one is tracking what we own, its age, or preparing a replacement schedule. Software approved in December will help with this deficiency. We created a few committees this year, probably the most significant being the Suicide Awareness and Prevention Council. Suicides in the United States have increased 4.7% from 2016 to 2017. Oregon is the 26th largest state, yet our suicide rate is 14th highest in the nation. That's up 6.4%, and suicide is the second leading cause of death for our 10 to 34-year-olds, up 8.4%. 1/5 of those who kill themselves are veterans. We discovered employees and committees have not been trained in open meetings or open records laws. Our legal counsel will be presenting training sessions to them this spring. This board started holding meetings during the summer months in Brookings and Port Orford to make it easier for you, the public, to attend and participate in our meetings. This practice will continue with this current board. Outside of the sheriff's office and some other limited departments, the county was not conducting background checks on their new hires. That policy has now changed, and all hires, including volunteers, must pass a background check. We have also taken some measures to improve courthouse security and accessibility concerns. These changes are required by the state and are still ongoing. Our buildings are very old and in disrepair. This summer, our HVAC system went out without warning and resulted in a major unforeseen expense. Again, there was no capital improvement plan to pay for the new system. It was not budgeted, nor was there a contingency fund. Thankfully, our facilities maintenance director, Eric Hansen, was able to reallocate funds from other projects and find a contractor to install the new HVAC system. That system cost the county $50,000. But shortly after installation, some of the units on the roof of the annex building were stolen. Thankfully, law enforcement was able to recover the materials. Our phone system failed several times, once affecting dispatch, and another resulted in all saved messages being deleted. Our contractor, Coos Curry Electric, proposed either a full rebuild or a repair. In that no capital improvement planning had been done for the phones and there was no contingency, the board chose to pursue repairing the old system rather than a new system. We have applied for a loan from the state to fund the repair. In other cost-saving measures, the board discontinued maintaining the tsunami warning sirens that are in the county. Only 4 of the 17 sirens were working, and Jeremy Dumeyer, our emergency management director, has more information about the sirens, as well as some other critical information the public should be aware of.
This year, the Board of Commissioners approved, at my request, the discontinuing use of our tsunami sirens. In Curry County, we have so many effective ways to notify citizens, be it the Everbridge Reverse 911 system, the Wireless Emergency Alerts WIA system, and our local first responders and law enforcement partners. The tsunami sirens in Curry County were antiquated systems from the World War II era and were in a state of disrepair to the point of being inefficient and ineffective in a disaster response. Curry County Emergency Management continues to build on its partnerships, both with the local level, the state, federal government, and non-government agencies, entities, and individuals. As we look ahead to 2020, the major projects that Curry County Emergency Management is focusing on is the planning updates, such as the Emergency Operations Plan, the Natural Hazards Mitigations Plan, and the Communications Plan. Those are just 3 of many plans that my office is responsible for and is engaged in currently in rebuilding. Also continue to move forward on the Cape Blanco Airport Resiliency Project. Cape Blanco is identified as one of 3 airports on the coast likely to survive after a Cascadia subduction zone earthquake. And of the 3, it is the only one capable of landing a C-17 airplane with supplies. That airport is a mile-long runway at 230 feet elevation with a landing weight capability of 538,000 pounds. It will be one of our lifelines as we try to recover from a major earthquake. Another project we're working on is the Rogue Siskiyou Regional Fire and Emergency Training Facility in cooperation with the City of Gold Beach and the Fire Chief Tyson Krieger of Gold Beach. That fire emergency training facility will be located outside of town at the old mill site. It will allow us to have local training for not only our volunteers and agencies, but also to bring others to Curry County for training. It also gives emergency management the ability to have an actual emergency operations center, something we do not currently have in Curry County.
There's been much frustration this past year as the new board realized there has not been proper planning to help meet the ongoing governmental needs. Many critical government practices were not in place. As stated, proper budgeting, asset management, and capital improvement planning are seen as matters that must be and are being addressed immediately. Another area of concern for the board is employee retention. We have very dedicated employees with remarkable integrity. Aside from the cost of living raises, most do not see annual salary increases and are behind in their wages as compared to the private sector and other jurisdictions. This past summer, the board approved a wage study to help determine what the wages should be. That study is to be completed in the next month or so. You may have heard much discussion over our special districts. We have over 40 special districts. The county collects the taxes for those special districts, disperses the funds to them, but cannot charge them for their services. This puts yet another strain on our already poorly funded departments. As you know, the county also has hundreds of foreclosed properties. People have asked why we don't sell those properties. If we sell the properties, the proceeds from them parcels must be divided amongst all the special districts, meaning the county does all the work, but only gets approximately 6% of the sale price. We have decided that some of our properties should be donated to at least get them on the tax rolls, and some should be diverted to our parks program. How we can address surplus lands is something we are continuing to research. An ongoing issue we are addressing is the provision of public health services. Several years ago, the county, with the assistance of other nonprofits, funded a costly transition of public health services to Curry Community Health, which at the time was a new nonprofit organization. This fall, CCH told Curry County that in 90 days they were going to cease providing those services. Since we have a contract with them which requires them to provide public health services until 2021, the county is disputing their decision. It must be clear that although we want CCH to honor their contract, the public health service to our residents is paramount and is our top concern regarding this controversy. The board approved development of the county's first ever strategic plan. The firm selected was Moss Adams, and the plan is to be completed in the next month. The local board of realtors and Coos Curry Electric helped fund the plan, with the majority of it being funded out of the general fund. Ideally, this plan will help commissioners and departments align their programs and budgets to all go to the same direction and work toward a common goal versus no sound plan or direction to follow. In conclusion, this board is challenged with a lack of funds, and a lack of funding has greatly affected our day-to-day operations. We need to start planning ahead and budgeting for those necessary repairs and operations that, if not addressed, cost us more in the long run. We are doing the best we can and appreciate your continued patience and support. We have antiquated ways of doing business, which we are continually improving. Yes, we will need to spend some money this coming year, but it is imperative we get this county on the right track. If I can ask you for anything today, I would ask you to keep an open mind and trust we are doing the right thing and the best we can. And if you get a chance, please thank your county staff that is often doing multiple jobs at a lower than average rate of pay. They are part of this community, our community, and they need to be recognized for their dedication and relentless commitment to work with the board to make Curry County a better place to live. I would like to thank you for taking time to listen to this important State of the County address. Thank you, and have a great day.